GM, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of January. Apologies for a later stream today. I had an exam this morning, so I was pretty tied up in that. And yeah, I said to myself I would jump on a little bit later and give the update. So let's jump straight into it. And as you can see, Bitcoin is starting to push up. We're currently at 106,800 and looking very nice here. So we have seen some news sort of break today, some pretty bullish news. We've got the Bank of America CEO saying that the banking industry will embrace cryptocurrency if regulators allow it. Obviously, we know that we have a very, very favorable cryptocurrency regulation or regulators now that Trump is putting in to office. Obviously, Republicans winning the Senate and the House. So we are, and obviously a new SEC chair as well, which I'll get onto more in a second. But this is really bullish because this should be a formality. So what we are potentially about to see is the big investment banks in the US start to offer services around cryptocurrency. Potentially, you might be able to hold cryptocurrency accounts, deposit accounts. You might be able to get the banks to actually have custody of your cryptos. This is massive. I mean, this is really moving away from those crypto native companies and now moving to the traditional finance companies. Obviously, companies that have hundreds and hundreds of years worth of trust of the vast majority of the general public. Obviously, not everybody who's crypto native is actually a fan of the banks, but in terms of your mom and pop investors, in terms of your traditional, your larger institutional investors, your private sort of high net worth clients, a lot of them get their private banking services, their institutional banking services from companies like BOA, companies like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. And if those sort of big investment banks start to offer cryptocurrency services, you can imagine there might be deposit accounts, obviously custody services. They might be able to offer things like enhanced derivatives, structured products. This could be really, really fascinating. And that is just going to drive in so much liquidity into cryptocurrency. And notice how, keyword here, cryptocurrency, it's not just Bitcoin anymore. This is about crypto as a whole. So that's really, really positive news. Just earlier on, before that, we had Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong predicting Bitcoin will get into the millions, the multiple millions price range. So again, big endorsement coming from Brian Armstrong. You could say, look, he might be biased. He is the CEO of Coinbase, but nevertheless, he knows what he's talking about. He knows the space very, very well. And if he's starting to come out with these numbers, you can best believe that's going to sort of instigate a bit of attention and a bit of hype. And we are seeing a lot of hype right now. Obviously, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse meeting with Vice President JD Vance at the inauguration events. So this is obviously good news for Ripple. Obviously, openly not the biggest fan of Ripple on this channel, but I'm sure you Ripple holders know it's all a little bit of sort of pantomime between us. And yeah, obviously, I'm a big crypto bull, so I want to see the entire space do well. That includes Ripple. So yeah, it's all positive. It's all positive for the space to see these sorts of connections being made. This is really, really wild. So the US government, you can see Doge.gov has been registered, and it currently has the image of the Dogecoin sort of dog on the website. So yeah, nice Doge shield. I think Doge is doing quite well today. And then this one, just 47 minutes ago, you can't really keep up with all the news that's coming out. I can see my phone pinging away in front of me. I better put that to one side because I'm going to get distracted. But it's non-stop right now. SEC launches new crypto task force to develop comprehensive and clear regulatory framework for crypto assets. This is what we've been screaming out for. This is what the space has been asking for so long. We are finally getting what we've asked for from the SEC, which is a crypto task force, and to get clear regulation. So, I mean, look, like I say, the it's just coming thick and fast right now. The news, obviously, we know that President Trump is currently signing executive orders. There is, of course, speculation that a Bitcoin strategic reserve executive order could be signed any day now. And, whilst that is floating out there, whilst that sort of news is floating out there that it might happen today, it might happen tomorrow, then people are going to buy the rumor, sell the news. I actually think the fact it didn't happen on his first day as president is probably a good thing because it keeps that rumor out there. It keeps that event that we can look forward to. And of course, the market, how's the market? How is this market really going to sell off when at any point that news could break and send the price of Bitcoin up to 120, 130,000, probably within a candle? Do you know what I mean? Like, who wants to get out their Bitcoin positions here? Who wants to short Bitcoin here? Well, I'll show you who in a minute. But like I say, we are following this path really, really well. Obviously, we updated this. We did make it a little bit more bullish based on the price action from a few days ago, which seems to have been the right decision. We have come down. We've tasted around sort of like the 99K area. We're now looking for a push up, probably above this height here. And I think we will probably take out this wick and looking to come into around about 110, 111,000. Then I'm expecting maybe some consolidation. Depends. If we get the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve news out over the next day or two, potentially we do run up much, much more aggressively and much higher a lot quicker. However, if we don't, if this kind of takes a few days or a week or two to play out, I think Bitcoin probably consolidates and then looks to make that push over the next month. I would have thought within the first month, Trump would actually talk about that and get an executive order signed to actually start working on at least investigating or researching, putting this strategic Bitcoin reserve together. Obviously, the rumor mill's going off the charts. There are rumors that it's already starting to be put together, and that obviously Senator Loomis is taking a bit of a lead on this with certain recommendations to Trump and the government. But we'll have to see how it goes. All we know one thing for sure, that this Trump government, this Trump administration is extremely pro cryptocurrency, massively pro cryptocurrency. And right now, if you look at some of these crypto tokens, sort of Bitcoin aside, I mean, you look at this Ethereum chart, you would not tell, you would have absolutely no idea that Donald Trump has come into office, that Donald Trump's company, World Liberty Financial, that Eric and Don Jr. are literally tweeting about every couple of days at the moment, have been buying up Ethereum, and Ethereum is just doing absolutely nothing. It is absolutely incredible. If we look at Pepe as well, I mean, Donald Trump's just launched a meme coin. That's a massive endorsement to the meme coin space. That's a massive endorsement to the crypto space. And Pepe is just hanging out close to its multi-month lows. Literally. Its capitulation low in December. We've come back down there. We've literally come back down to that low. What is going on, people? What is going on? It's one of these things where, how is this rational behavior? How is this market pricing this information efficiently? Right now, it's not. And it really does feel like this market, or these markets that I'm looking at, the majority, I mean, I've picked on ETH and Pepe here just because I know that Bitcoin and Solana have had some crazy pumps. But we can look at other ones. We can look at, for example, Avalanche, chilling out close to its, recent monthly lows. We've got Near as well, trying to hold on to its 200-day moving average. It's wicked below a couple of times, just consolidating. So really, if we go to total 3, we can see that the markets are in a state of consolidation here. If I go to a 4-hour, for whatever reason, the trend line doesn't want to fit on the daily when I adjust the chart. But you can see we are starting to push up. And what I'm really looking for here, and I think what we're all waiting for, what this market's waiting for, is to see this trend line breakout, for us to clear this high here. Let's get a horizontal on here at 1.13 trillion. And that is where we're really then going to start to see the massive acceleration, and I think we will see a massive markup. And I'd be surprised if this doesn't happen over the next couple of weeks. So we're just kind of biding our time here. If we go back to Bitcoin then, and just back over to the daily, like I say, we are, yeah, we're back up, obviously back up towards all-time highs. Really strong price action for now. If we do just look at the liquidation heat map on Bitcoin, you can see, as I was talking about earlier, there are people still shorting Bitcoin. People are still prepared to take the risk of shorting the top, trying to top pick this market. I think it's probably not the most sensible thing to do, especially in light of all of the announcements we've got coming out right now. But you can see we've got a pretty sort of clear path here up to around this 110,000 level, even just above it up until around about 111,000 of liquidations to go through. So it's really hard to see Bitcoin just sort of stopping here and then reversing and coming down and starting to run us to the downside. Of course, it could happen, but I think this market probably remains bid, gets up to around 110, 111,000, and then we see where we go from there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this happens at all over the next couple of days. If we just look at the funding rate, funding rate heat map as well, we can see that funding is completely neutral. So we're not overextended whatsoever. Obviously, we started to get a little bit heated in December. That's when we saw, obviously, the pullback, but we're not overheated whatsoever. Even our sort of Fartcoin and Trump token have both come back to neutral now, which is healthy. So things are looking good. Like the setups are looking good. And like I say, the narrative is there. Everybody likes a story. Right now, crypto is the big story. Donald Trump's come in and he has shifted attention onto crypto with obviously, his launch of the meme coin and also what is happening around his World Liberty Financial project as well. They bought $47 million of Bitcoin and Ethereum the other day. They've been buying things like Athena. They've been buying Aave and a couple of others. So look, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, the fundamentals are doing one thing, and the narrative is saying one thing, and the price is just taking its time to actually price this in, and seems to be taking its time. I don't know if people have PTSD, if people are scared. I think with some of these moves here, I mean, people probably got overexcited in here, and then the prices come down and sort of shaking people out, and it's a lot of these will be liquidations. The same with Pepe. If you've been getting, even myself, I mean, I was starting to get quite bullish here. It looked like we'd broken out. Like obviously originally we had this trend line over here, and it looked like, right, it's a breakout, it's a retest. I was longing on this retest. I got stopped out from some sort of more aggressive Pepe longs, and we come all the way back down, and this has probably forced people out of their positions. Certainly people that have been on leverage. I mean, that's a fair old sort of sizable move from where we were. That's another like 30% sort of down. So anybody on a 3x or more has probably been wiped out from that, which is going to be like most leverage traders. So, it's a difficult time if you are on leverage, if you're not like 100% in spot Bitcoin or 100% in spot Bitcoin and Sol, then you're probably finding things quite hard right now. And I think that sentiment is probably shared by a lot of people I know in this market right now. So, like I say, it's very hard not to be very bullish here. And like I say, I will bring you back to the chart, total 3. It's really just a waiting game. It is a waiting game to wait for these levels to break. And like I say, it might happen today, it might happen tomorrow. We might have to chop around a bit more. It might take another week or two, but we are getting closer to these breakouts. And like I say, when it happens on total 3, then the rest of the altcoin market will follow. And this will be aggressive. This is the big one. This is really the breakout that we have been waiting for. This is the breakout of the previous all-time high. And we are looking from this breakout to see aggressive expansion. First stop will be the 618 at 1.65 trillion. I think we go probably a lot higher than that. Probably the 2.618 is more realistic. I mean, from the all-time high, that's going to be 120%. Obviously, to the 1.618, it's going to be 45%. I don't think we're going to stop at 45% on these altcoins. I think we will likely do 120%. If we looked at what happened last time that we did this breakout on total free, you can see it was back here. So we can see we're around about 361 billion, and we actually made the breakout. We came all the way back down for the retest, but from the actual breakout area, we did about 160%. So, you know, it can definitely happen. It can definitely happen. And yeah, potentially we do get some sort of back test. But I mean, that'll be quite quick. In here, it happened in the space of a couple of weeks. But like I say, we did 160% last time. Here you go. Here's about 120% for you. I think absolutely that sort of level would be on the cards, and that's what I'm expecting. And why wouldn't it, with such a pro crypto administration coming into office here? So let's take a very quick look at the dollar. Obviously, a big catalyst for this move is the dollar starting to break down. I've been talking about this. I've been talking about the fact that when Trump comes into office, it is highly, highly likely that we will see a top get made on the dollar. I told you about the last time Trump came into office, right at the start of 2017, 80 years ago, and the dollar was pretty much down only. I think it did around about a 10% move from low to high. Obviously, that's 14%, but from when he actually sort of came into office, we had already started to come off a little bit. It was around here, but you can see we did about a 12% move from when he came in to the low, and a 12% move on the dollar from around, sort of these sorts of levels. Well, a 10% move would take us to around about 97 and a half back to this trend line. Obviously, we could go lower than that, but I think, look, a move sort of back down here to this trend line, that could definitely give us some really nice consolidation in the crypto markets and also in the stock markets. And just checking in on the stock market, we got the S&P pushing back up to all-time highs again. So looking really, really good here, breaking out of this descending trend line. I had said if we get this breakout, we should then be up to attack all-time highs, and that is exactly what we are seeing. And the Nasdaq doing the same thing, breaking out, getting a retest earlier on today, finding support coming in and pushing back up. And it just looks like a matter of time, really, before these markets move higher. And obviously, dollar down, stocks up, both good for crypto to remain strong and continue to push higher. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Let's see what happens over the next sort of rest of the evening and tomorrow. Obviously, I will be back tomorrow with another stream. I'm flying tomorrow, so I'll try and get the stream done before I go to the airport, or potentially from the airport. If not, it will be later again when I land. But yeah, like I say, things are looking good here. The big one for me is going to be this obviously the total charts, total sort of market cap, crypto market cap, looking like it wants to sort of break out higher. Total 3 as well, looking like a matter of time really before we get above some of these bigger levels. So keep your eyes on those. Obviously, keep your eyes on Bitcoin. Let's see if we can get a close above sort of 106, 107,000. That'd be really bullish. And then I'll be targeting extension higher. Obviously, loads of news coming out literally every hour. It's hard to really break away from the phone for any decent amount of time because yeah, it's all happening very, very quickly now. So yeah, exciting times. Let's see what happens next. So have a great rest of the day wherever you are, and I will talk to you all on the next one. GM, GM, GM.